Thanks, Scott, for this beautiful introduction. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a bit of a brief about what's going on in Dubai, part of our role. I've labeled my presentation Dubai, an Architect's Dream. I'm sure there are a few architects here who would be happy to visit there very soon. I'll start with an introduction about Dubai for people who don't know much about it or haven't been there. You've seen some of it, the part I'm going to show you, and how Dubai Properties is actually involved in these developments that are coming up, some of our current projects that are part or linked in a way with the purpose of this session, and other developments in Dubai, and the main topic, which is how the irregular adds value. I'd like to start with a quote from our ruler, Mohammed bin Rashid, which says, "In the race of excellence, there is no finish line." That's the motto we work with, and that's exactly what Dubai has been all about until today, going forward. This gives you a bit of a brief of how the master plan of Dubai looks like, or would look like in the next few years. Some of these things are popping up by the day as I speak. As you see, there are some developments on the water, which are waterfront developments, which are created in the world and online, and some onshore developments with some dredging and other change in the master plans of Dubai onshore. Dubai actually started in a very small part, which is along the creek, which is approximately 13 kilometers long right now. And that's where it was born, maybe 50 or so years ago. And I'll show you some of the images of how it used to be and how it is right now. This is the main roads in Dubai. This picture was taken in 1990. As you would see, it's mostly desert. The beach is approximately here. It's one kilometer further away from the main road. And this is how it looks like right now. This is 15-year difference. There's more towers coming up. This is as close as I can get as a new picture to Dubai. I'm sure there is a few more towers that came up since this picture was taken. As I mentioned, the entry of the creek, or where Dubai was born, these are the buildings that you would see in late 1950s, early 1960s. The house structure would have been maybe 2 stories high, mostly houses. And at the same location like right now, with a fully developed city, I think we still have a lot of room to go in terms of vision and building city bigger scale. Dubai stretches along a 70-kilometer strip, and we are involved in some of the developments that are coming up. Think about us. We are part of Dubai Holding, which is a conglomerate that has many businesses, and Dubai Properties is the main arm of development in Dubai. We have a few sub-projects that I will be discussing some of them and explaining some of them to you, and what's the vision behind them and what's the purpose. To start with, I would say our first project start in Dubai Properties, and our first project to be handed over next month also is Jumeriah Beach Residence. This is a beachfront development. It's the largest single-phase development in the world. It's exactly 40 towers, 36 residential towers, 4 hotels, approximately 7,000 residential units, 17 million plus square foot of built-up, and all coming up at one time. If you would talk to some of the project managers who were actually running this, they'll tell you they had a nightmare actually coordinating the cranes all at once. This is how it looks like. From a perspective point of view, actually, delivery starts next month, as I mentioned. It ranges from towers from approximately 20 stories high to 50 stories along a 1.7 kilometer strip along the beach. Our second major project, which would be the main topic for this season, for this session, is the business bay, which is located on the map. It's in the middle of the city. It is changing the landscape of Dubai, where we are actually dredging with the current creek of 13 kilometers long to create a loop where you would create an island within the city, fully navigable island. This is phase one within the master plan. You have the main road, which I showed you a picture of earlier, which is here, where the mouse is. And you have phase one of Business Bay in this area. We started work on this project approximately in July last year, and we're expecting to finish infrastructure by mid-2008. This, as I mentioned, extends a creek of 13 kilometers long. Phase one only would have 80 million square feet of built-up space, approximately 500,000 in all phases, population of a quarter of a million. This is a bit of a perspective of how it would look like. It's a bit of everything. It's a bit of Manhattan, a bit of Miami, Chicago, with a mix of different cities you would see. I'll take you through an animation later on that gives you a better feel of how the city would look. I'm sure a lot of you have heard, and a lot of people who've met. I've just went through the exhibit, and I've seen a lot of images of buildings that are coming up in Dubai, the Infinity Tower, the Marina, like Dubai. It's all about scale, it's about style. We're famous for the tallest building, the largest mall, largest single-phase development. And that's what Dubai has been going on. This is by which I'm sure most of approximately, they still haven't announced the height, the official height. It's approximately 700 to 800 meters. In comparison to some other towers, which is the Russian tower, expected to be 648. The Fords and Spiral in Chicago, I don't know if this is actually happening here, 610, and the International Business Center in Seoul. So it far supersedes all of these. Currently, they are at approximately 250 meters high in buildings, 60 stories or so. And you could see this growing by the day. They're building approximately one floor a week. One of the other buildings that also are in Dubai is part of within our same group, which is Dubai Holding, is the 7-star hotel that's off the shore of Dubai, as you see it in the picture. It's Burj Al Arab, which is freestanding. It's also unusual in its own sense, in terms of creating an island and putting in a hotel on top. I'll just show you a brief of how basically we cover Business Bay and some of the development of how, looking at how the city will grow. As you would see, this is an extension of the current creek where it ends here, and this is the drain across the city. It's a wide canal that would have minimum average width of around 200 meters wide. Business Bay is very close to the area where Burj Dubai is, the tallest building in the world, as you would see within the plane here. It sits two projects that sit hand in hand with each other. As you've seen, the tallest building is just very close to us where Business Bay is. And following such a vision, by always in the race of excellence, we try to supersede ourselves. And so we decided to create something new, something irregular. And we've launched a competition last year between 4 top architects of the world to develop an icon that would actually compete with the other signature towers or buildings that are in Dubai, that is based on creativity, has to be timeless, and it has to be a piece of art. In that vision, we've actually invited 4 architects, I mentioned, and I'll show you some of their work, that some are not actually in the exhibit. Rem Koolhaas, OMA, developed a Renaissance building. These buildings were all supposed to be located in Business Bay. One of them would be in Business Bay. We create the center as an icon for the whole development. This is the tower, 200 meters long by 300 meters wide. That would be the center of the eye at the Business Bay. And also RUR architects, Jess Reiser and Manako Moto, the Eon Tower. It looks very irregular in shape. It has like 4 feet that actually it's some of the internal shots, images of the same tower. Morphosis, Tom Main, Burj Al Arab, that was the name of the tower. It's also unique in its own sense. As you see, each one of these has its own flavor with no similarity. It's not a normal icon of the tallest building. Each one has its own aspects. And finally, from Zaha Hadid's office, dancing towers. You have 3 buildings that are interconnecting at different sites at the lower end and the higher. And from here, I'd like to welcome Patrick Schuhart, which is the founding partner with Zaha Hadid, to come and explain to you some of our work and touch on some more detail on the dancing tower.